What's going on, family? Samuel Genus here with Funnel Goal, where we help business owners achieve the goal of their sales funnel. Because when it's all said and done, it doesn't matter how beautiful your funnel is, how much money you spent building it. The real question is, are you in fact achieving the goal? Did you know that there are even people who are getting sales but not really making a profit? That's actually a thing. You can be, people are like, man, I sold 100 units, but I didn't really make a profit. I made, $30,000, but man, I only walked away with like $2,500 in profit. What's the problem, right? And so we don't want that to happen to you. We want you to actually achieve the goal of your funnel, right? And so hence the name of our business, Funnel Goal, right? So today what I want to talk to you about is setting micro targets, because small wins create big wins. I'll say that again. Setting micro targets, because small wins create big wins, right? So let's get started. Many people, they have what we call a macro goal, right? They have a big goal, right? And typically a macro target is the ultimate goal you wish to achieve. Typically it's a revenue or sales type of a goal or target. And it can be any interval. It could be, this is our target for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year. It could be our target for the next 6 weeks, right? It's a macro target. It's typically a big goal, right? Now, here are some macro target examples. 10K a month, that's one. 60K next 90 days, that's another macro target example. 100K a year, that's a micro target example. And 4K per week is another example of a macro target, right? Now, for every macro target, there will be multiple micro targets. I'll repeat that. For every macro target, there will be multiple micro targets, okay? And so when we talk about the macro target, let's say, for example, the macro target is 10K, right? You want to make 10K. Well, for every macro target, there will be multiple micro targets. So the question is what are the micro targets that we need to be paying attention to? Because remember, small wins, become big wins, right? So those micro targets is landing page click-through rate, opt-in conversion rate, sales conversion rate, CPA, which means cost per acquisition, and finally POAS, which means profit on ad spend. Now together, all of these micro targets help you achieve the macro target, right? All of these small goals have to be hit in order to achieve the big goal, all right? Now here's the problem. Most owners do not know what these targets should be. For example, do you know what your landing page click-through rate needs to be in order to achieve the goal of your sales funnel? Do you know what your opt-in conversion rate needs to be in order to achieve the goal of your sales funnel? What about knowing the sales conversion rate? Do you know what that needs to be in order to achieve the goal of your sales funnel? And do you know what the CPA, the cost per acquisition, needs to be in order to achieve the goal of your sales funnel? And finally, do you know what the POAS, the profit on ad spend, needs to be in order to achieve the goal of your sales funnel? Of course, most people are going to answer no to this question. They actually don't know what the goal needs to be. They don't know what the landing page click-through rate needs to be, opt-in conversion rate, sales conversion rate, CPA, or POAS. They don't know what it needs to be. And if you don't know what it needs to be, guess what? You don't know what you're aiming at. You have no aim. You have no target. Okay. So people will be like, well, is 2x ROAS good? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what your targets are. I don't know what your main goal is, because it's not a one size fit all. Everybody's main goal may be different. Your product price is different. Your profit margins are different, right? Your business models is different. Your LTVs may be different. Your cost of goods sold and all that stuff may be different. So, it has to be done on a case by case basis, and it even has to be done on a funnel by funnel basis. All right, because every funnel is not the same. All right, let's keep going. So what I want to do over the next few moments is I want to basically provide you with some metric definitions. And you want to remember these metric definitions that I'm going to share with you, because remember, you are the CEO of your business, and you need to know what these metrics mean. If you are the media buyer of the company, you need to know what these are. If you are the marketing director, you need to know what these numbers are. If you are the copywriter or the page designer, you need to know what these metrics are, because it refers to the outcomes of what you're going to be working with. All right. So let's get to these metric definitions. Okay. Number one, you have the landing page click-through rate. Now, remember, there's actually multiple metrics. Okay, I just wanted to make that point. There's actually multiple metrics that you can keep track of. There's a lot of metrics you can keep track of. But in this presentation, I want to basically just narrow your focus to these five. I want to just narrow your focus to those five. There are others, but getting started, for those of you who are getting started, or for those of you who really just want to, you want to get a handle on your numbers and your metrics and your analytics, and you want to start setting some goals, this is a good starting point. All right. So let's get to it. We have the landing page click-through rate. Some people also call this the LPCTR. It's like an abbreviation, right? This is the percentage of people who view your ad, your email, your SMS, and click on the link to your landing page. All right. So there are people who will be viewing your ad. There are people who will see your email. There are people who will view your SMS. And in those pieces of content, there should be a call to action. And when they click on it, it should take them to your landing page. Well, some people call this like the click-through rate, but I like to use the phrase landing page click-through rate. That means they actually clicked on it and made it to the landing page. All right. And so here's the formula for this landing page click-through rate. It is the landing page views, or the total landing page views, divided by the reach. Okay. And reach is basically how many people saw your ad, how many people read the email, how many people received the SMS message, right? And so it's landing page views divided by the reach equals your landing page click-through rate. Okay, landing page views divided by reach equals the landing page click-through rate. So here is an example of a landing page click-through rate, right? Let's say you have 1,000 people you reached, but 15 people actually clicked on the ad and made it to your landing page. So you would take 15 divided by 1,000 equals 0.015%, or if you multiply that by 100, it'd be 1.5%. So your landing page click-through rate would be 1.5%. Okay. Now let's go on to the opt-in conversion rate, or opt-in CVR, right? Opt-in conversion rate. This is the percentage of people who opt in after viewing your landing page. Right, so they're the percentage of people who opt in. They saw your landing page. So let's say you have a few 100 people who saw your landing page, but 10 of them opted in. Right, so it's the percentage of people who opt in after viewing the landing page. Here's the formula: total opt-ins divided by landing page views equals the opt-in CVR, or the opt-in conversion rate. And here's an example of that formula. You have 20 opt-ins, right? But you have 500 people who made it to your landing page. You have 500 landing page views. So you will take 20 divided by 500, and that becomes 0.04, right? Which is your 0.04 opt-in CVR. And if you take 0.04 and multiply it by 100, it'd be a 4% opt-in rate, right? Opt-in conversion rate, right? Let's keep going. We now have the sales. We have now the sales conversion rate, or the sales CVR. This is the percentage of people who purchase after opting in or after viewing landing page, right? And here's the formula for that. And we actually have two formulas for this, right? Because the opt-in page may be optional, right? Every funnel doesn't always have an opt-in page. You may be going from the ad or the email directly to a sales page, or you might be going from the ad to an opt-in page and then the opt-in to the sales page, right? So the first one we're going to deal with is a sales CVR. That's the number of purchases divided by total opt-ins is the CVR, sales CVR, the sales conversion rate. We also have purchases divided by landing page views, and that can also be your sales conversion rate, right? Purchases divided by total opt-ins, or you can do, if you don't have an opt-in page, it could be purchases divided by landing page views, right? So here is the example for the sales conversion rate. Let's say you have 5 purchases, but you have 10 opt-ins. So there was 10 people who opted in, but out of those 10 people, only 5 of them purchased. So we would take 5 divided by 10 equals 0.50 or 0.5. And if you multiply that by 100, it will be 50% sales conversion rate, all right? Now, the other one is, let's say you have 7 purchases, but you have 125 landing page views. All right, you would take 7 divided by 125, and that will equal to 0.056. If you multiply that times 100, it will be like 5.6 sales conversion rate, right? Now we have the CPA, which is cost per acquisition. Some people will call this CPP, which stands for cost per purchase, but technically these are 2 different metrics, right? CPA is not always the same as CPP, but sometimes people use them interchangeably, right? This is the amount of money it costs you to get a new customer or get a new sale, right? And the formula for that is ad spend divided by new customers is the CPA, or ad spend divided by the number of purchases is the CPP, right? Because a new customer is not the same thing as a purchase, right? You can have an existing customer make a purchase, and so that's not a new customer. It's still a purchase, but it's not a new customer. And so if you're trying to track, new customers, what's the CPA for new customers is ad spend divided by total new customers, right? Versus, the ad spend divided by total purchases. So here's an example. For cost per acquisition. Let's say you spent $1,000 on ads, but you gain 10 new customers. So you would basically take 1,000 divided by 10, and that would be a $100 CPA, right? Or it could be, let's say you spent $1,000 on ad spend, and you only had 2 purchases. It will be $1,000 divided by 2, and that will be $500 cost per purchase. All right. Let's keep going. Now we finally have what we call POAS. POAS is profit on ad spend, and what it means is POAS is the gross profit you gain for every ad spend. POAS considers COGS, sales tax, shipping rates, payment, processing fees, and other marketing fees. And the formula for that is total revenue minus expenses divided by ad spend equals POAS. I'm going to repeat that. Total revenue minus expenses divided by ad spend equals POAS, right? And so here is the example for that, profit on ad spend. The formula is, let's say you have $1,000 that you've made, in sales, right? But you had $700 of expenses, right? And let's say that $700, $500 of it is your ad spend, and the other 200 is, let's say, was your cost of goods sold, right? And so you want to take the total revenue minus the expenses and divide that by $500 for the ad spend, and you would have a POAS of 0.6, okay? Or what people will call a 0.6 conversion rate. A 0.6 POAS, all right? Now, so how do you, let me go back. I want to say one more thing about POAS. One of the reasons why POAS is so profound and so good is because it takes in consideration those expenses, right? Because you have some people, remember how I said earlier when I first started, I said you can be making sales and yet not making a profit. How is that possible? That's because you're not properly tracking your POAS. You're not properly tracking your cost of goods sold. You're not properly tracking the additional expenses that are associated with your marketing. A lot of people, they just take in consideration ad spend, but you got to take your ad spend into consideration. You have to take your cost of goods sold into consideration. You also have to take in consideration your agency fees, right? And the copywriting fees and the optimization fees, because all of that is part of your marketing, right? And so that's what I like to do. I like to include all of that in the marketing because this is how much you spent. You didn't just spend $500 on ads. You spent $500 on ads and $1,500 a month on agency fees. And so did you make a profit? Did you walk away with a profit? And you may be thinking, well, I had a ROAS of 3x, so I had a ROAS of 2.7. Of course I made a profit. Not necessarily, because you have to take in consideration those other expenses that are associated with your marketing, right? And so what I like to do is in my POAS, I like to include all of that. I like to include the cost of goods sold. I like to include my agency fees, and I like to include any other marketing fees that I spent, because this is real money you spent to manage your Facebook ads, right? So you want to take that into consideration. If it's like a one-time thing, you could probably get away with not doing that. But if it's like an ongoing, like agency fees is ongoing, some agencies want a commission off the sales that you've made through their agency. You may want to consider that. You don't just want to deduct the cost of goods sold. You also want to deduct that 2% revenue commission that some of these agencies might want. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. So how to determine the targets? How do you determine these micro targets? Right. So remember we said the macro target is 10K. Right. In our example, the macro target is 10K. But here are the micro targets. We have landing page click-through rate, opt-in conversion rate, sales conversion rate, CPA, which is cost per acquisition, and POAS, which is profit on ad spend. So here's the question: what should these goals be? Right? Everybody with me so far? What should the goals be? What should my landing page click-through rate be? What should I be aiming for? What should my opt-in conversion rate be? What should I be aiming for? What should my sales conversion rate be? What should my cost per acquisition be? What should my POAS goal be in order to hit 10K? Right? That's what we're trying to do. What do these numbers need to be? What do these goals need to be in order to hit my macro target or my 10K target? What I like to do also is, for example, a question that I like to ask is, what do these goals need to be to break even, right? What do I need to hit in order to break even? And then the other question could be is what should my micro targets be in order to scale my ads, right? If you don't necessarily want to use like a dollar amount for the macro goal, you can just say, okay, for me to break even, what should these micro targets be? And for me to scale these ads, what should the targets be in order to scale? Okay. Now remember, I need to hit these micro targets in order to achieve the macro targets. All right. Remember, the small goals create big wins, right? Small wins create big wins. So I need to hit these small targets. If you are struggling to achieve a successful and higher performance funnel, you need to be able to hit these small goals, right? You need to be able to hit these small goals. And so that's what you just got to do. But you got to know what they are first. So you got to know, well, what should these goals actually be? And right now, many people don't know what these goals should be. And that's why I'm here to help you figure out the answers to those questions so that you can create a higher performing ad, all right? Or a funnel, I should say, a higher performing sales funnel. So let's keep going. So funnel goal software makes this process easy. The funnel goal software makes this process easy. It makes it easy for you to know, determine what the landing page click-through rate needs to be, the opt-in conversion rate, sales conversion rate, CPA, and POAS. Right, the software that I'm going to share with you, it's going to help you easily determine this so that you can know what to track, know how to optimize, know where the leaks are within your funnel, and also know whether or not you're hitting the goal. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Funnel Goal, and I'm going to basically show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to determine these numbers and what they're used for as it relates to improving the performance of your ads. So let's go into Funnel Goal, and I will let me open up my Funnel Goal, and I'm just going to walk you through. Okay, so here is my funnel goals. I went to funnelgoal.net, and I'm just going to type in my, I'm going to log in. And when it logs me in, it's going to take me to the dashboard. I already completed my onboarding and all that stuff. So I'm at a dashboard. I don't have any dashboards set up at the moment. I don't have dashboards set up. And I don't need that at this moment. I don't need to have dashboards set up at this moment because it's not important for this step that I'm going to walk you through. All right. So what we do need to do is I'm just going to go to reports, and then I'm going to go to goal calculator. I'm going to click on goal calculator, right? I basically went to reports and then goal calculator. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this new button in the top right, and the goal calculator opens. And then for the name, I'm just going to replace the word new calculation, and I'm just going to call this like my sample funnel goal. I'll call this summer campaign goals, right? So that's what I'm gonna call the my campaign. You can call it your course, or your $1 million launch course goals, right? But the whole purpose we're going to do is we're going to basically determine what these goals need to be, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to enter variable and section, and I'm going to put in my average order value. So I'm basically, my product costs $97, and then it's asking me for the profit rate or the profit margin. I'm gonna put 60 for 60%, and then I'm gonna skip these two fields, and I'm gonna go straight to the ad spend field, and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna spend about $600 in ads. I'm not gonna have an opt-in, so I'm gonna change that to no. And then I'm going to come over here to the CPM, right? And the reason why I don't have an opt-in is because what I'm selling is like, I'm going straight from the ad to the sales. I'm going straight from the ad to my sales conversion page. To a sales page. Now, some of you may have an opt-in, but for this example, I'm not going to have an opt-in. I'm going straight for the sales, right? In another video, I'll show you how to put some of these other to put an opt-in, and we can see what the results are from that, right? So now I'm going to go to the paid ad variables. So I'm going to go to the CPM, and what CPM stands for cost per 1,000 impressions, right? That's what CPM stands for. It stands for cost per 1,000 impression, and it defaults to $20. $20 is basically the kind of like a average. It's not like an industry average. It's kind of like an overall average. And you can change that if you have historical data in your Facebook, or historical data in any one of your like your Google or your AdWords, Google AdWords, if you just have any historical marketing data that you can look at, and you can be like, okay, what is my average CPM, and that varies from platform to platform. So we need to take that into consideration too. But if you have historical data, you can use that here. You don't have to use our $20 default value. You can put, you go and look at your historical data and look at the data for the last 30 days or the last 90 days, and you can put the CPM there, right? So I'm gonna keep it at 20 for now. There's also a website that you can go to if you don't have historical data, and you can actually go to a website, and you can get that website will be somewhere on the link below. You can go to the website and you can look at the industry average. You can say, okay, for my industry, what's the CPM for Facebook? For my industry, what's the CPM for Google? For my industry, what's the CPM for TikTok? All right. So you can do that. All right. So let's keep going. One of the things you're going to notice is when I put in my $600 ad spend, notice what it did. It says, okay, well, if your CPM is $20, we can roughly expect that you will have 30,000 impressions, right? And so now I'm going to look at the frequency. Frequency basically means what percentage of people saw the ad more than one time, what percentage of the people saw the ad more than one time. So notice how I can have 30,000 impressions, but if I have a frequency of 1.5, I'm gonna go to the next column, and that's called cost per reach. In other words, how much is it costing me to reach 1,000 people? And notice that reach is different than impressions. Impressions is the number of times your ad was shown. Reach is the number of people you actually reach. All right. So you can actually have 1,000 impressions, but only reach 800 people because 200 of those people could have seen the ad more than one time. All right. Let's keep going. So, so that's my cost per reach. And if you look below, it actually tells me, hey, you can expect to reach 20,000 people, right? Even though I have 30,000 impressions, because my frequency is 1.5, I'll reach 20,000 people. Now, let's say I change my frequency to 1, right? Now, all of a sudden, the reach becomes equivalent. It becomes the same as impressions. I have 30,000 impressions, hence I will have 30,000 people reach. But I'm going to keep it to the default of 1.5, kind of like a good starting point. It's very rare you're going to be able to keep this at 1, a frequency of 1. That would be kind of unrealistic because as you spend more money, your frequency will tend to go higher and higher, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is we can see that, okay, what should my landing page click-through rate be? And remember, landing page click-through rate is the number of people, it's the percentage of people who saw your ad, which is your reach, and actually clicked on it, right? And so I'm just going to make this really, really simple and just click on the break even. I'm going to click break even. And when I click that, what Funnel Goal does, it says, okay, in order for you to break even, you need to get a landing page click-through rate of 2.32%, which means you would have 464 landing page views, right? That's about how many people or the percentage of people you would need to click on the ad, okay? So now that I got that, I'm going to keep on going to the right, and I have my sales conversion rate. My sales conversion rate is at 2.38. 2.38 basically is, another industry, not an industry average, but just an overall average, a 2.38 sales conversion rate. And I typically don't like to change that. I want to keep that at the same 2.38. There are times you want to change that, but at this stage of the process, we don't want to change that. We actually want to focus more on that landing page click-through rate. And the reason why I want to focus on the landing page click-through rate, you notice how there are 4 fields that have 4 red backgrounds, 5 fields that have red backgrounds. And if you look in the top right of the screen, there's 3 legends. And the one that's in red it says based on your message quality. Now, here's the thing about this whole landing page click-through rate and the stuff that have a red background. What this is really telling us is that these values are 100% associated with your message quality. You actually have full control over improving these metrics, right? If your landing page click-through rate is low, then chances are the quality of your message is low. The higher the landing page click-through rate is, guess what? The higher or the better your ads are, or the higher, the more quality your email is, or the more quality your SMS message is. So the ones in the red background, they are based upon your message quality. Remember, you have 100% control over improving the quality of your message. And I think that's very, very important for us to recognize, that you have 100% control over improving the quality of your message, right? Because the better the quality of your message, guess what that means? It means the better people will relate to that message, and then they'll go and they'll take their wallet and they'll take out their credit card and they will purchase, or they will fill out the opt-in form. They will opt in, right? They will do what you want them to do if the quality of your message is really, really good. Now, I know, many of you are like, man, I'm going to get a lot of people to click. And I understand it's that beginner's hope, right? You got hope. You think you're the best. You think your presentation is the best. But here's the thing: the data doesn't lie, right? The whole point is you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to look at the data, because the data is going to let you know whether or not you hit a home run or not, right? You can brag, you can believe in yourself, you can believe whatever you want. I'm not going to try to debate you or any of that. All I'm saying is the data is not going to lie. And so some of you are going to start off like, man, you're going to want to conquer the world. And then when you get started, you're going to realize, oh, smack, I don't even my landing page click-through rate is not that great. People didn't really like my message, right? And that means either your target was off, or it means that the quality of your message was off. Okay. Now that's a good thing, because that means now you know where to work on, right? Because what's happening is many people, they're having a problem, but they don't know where the problem is located. Make sense? Okay. Now, so that's the quality. All of this pertains to the quality of the quality of your message. All right. So now that we got that, right, I can just hit run formula. And when I run the formula, it says, okay, great. You're going to have a POAS of around 1.1 and your ROAS will be 1.8. Remember how I said, you can have people can be like, man, is a 2x ROAS good? I'm like, I don't know. I got to run your numbers, right? But with this tool, we're able to quickly locate what your break even is versus your POAS, right? Now, here's another thing I want y'all to do is, like, you see where it says over here, additional costs, right? Now, let's say, for example, you have to pay somebody $500 to manage your ads. Well, let's put that in here. That's an additional cost. Not only is it an additional cost, it's an additional ongoing cost. And so we definitely want to track that, because every month you got to pay them $500. All right. Well, if I do that, now notice if I run the formula again, I'm losing money now, right? This is why this is so critical. I can't stress this enough, right? A lot of you're not including the additional expenses that are associated with your marketing. And so you have to do that. You have to do that. You have to focus. You got to add that into that. You got to add your additional costs into it. And if I run the formula, notice how my POAS is red. I'm losing, right? It's like, yeah, I got a good ROAS of 1.8, right? And people are like, oh man, you almost 2x. Yeah, but I'm actually losing money. I lost $459. Why? Because I didn't take in consideration my additional cost. I actually have an additional cost of $500 for the agency fee, right? And so you still didn't make any money. Wow. You still didn't make any money. You made some gross sales, but you didn't make a profit. You actually lost $459, right? So now I got to go back to my landing page click-through rate, and I got to be like, okay, let me click break even. And notice now, wow, for me to break even, I now have to perform better. My ads have to perform better, because remember, anything with the red background means it's based upon your message quality. So that means in order for me to break even now, because I got this additional $500 cost, my ads has to perform even better, right? Now, here's the problem, is that 3.98 to me is a very high landing page click-through rate just to break even, right? For some people, that may not be high, because you may be collecting a lot more money in your LTV. You may lose on the front end, but you're going to gain on the back end. That's doable. That can work for you. But that doesn't mean it works for every single business model, right? And so if you're just trying to make the quick sale, then it's like, okay, yeah, you need to think through that, right? So it's like, man, this landing page click-through rate is kind of high, and so I may want to include and be like, hey, well, let me include a future sale. What if I can get them to buy again within the next 30 days? And I say within the next 30 days because I don't want you waiting all year long just to get your LTV back. I want to know, what is your LTV for the next 30 days, right? Because you can have lifetime value. That's what LTV means. It simply means lifetime value, right? And so your lifetime value is like, okay, well, you're expecting to make, let's say $500, that's your LTV. But when will you get that $500, right? When will you get that $500? When will you get it all in the first 30 days? Will you get it all in the next 45 days? Will you get it all in the next 6 months, or will you not get it until 12 months from now, right? So when will you receive the majority of that LTV? And so in this example, I basically want to deal with a shorter term LTV. I want to deal with a 30-day LTV. What future sales can you offer them, or can you get, or what future offers can you get them to buy in the next 30 days? So I'm like, okay, I got another product, and it's $149. you know, and the profit margin on that is still around 60%, right? Well, actually, no, it might actually be 65%. So I'm gonna put that there, right? So now what I can do is I can run the break even calculator again. I can just click on break even. I can press that break even. Oh, I actually forgot one more thing. Now that I put in a future sale and a future sales profit rate, I need to come over here to the last field called future CVR. What that means is what percentage of your customers can you get to purchase this future product or service within the next 30 days. And I'm like, okay, I could probably get 30% of my customers to do that, right? And so now I'm gonna go back to the break even calculator, to the break even link, and I'm gonna click that link again, and notice that now it drops my landing page click-through rate to 2.9, and if I click run formula, now I break even. I gotta work a little bit more, right? I gotta get a 2.9 landing page click-through rate, but I think I'm okay with that. That's doable, right? But that may not be doable for you because it all depends on the quality of your message. It depends on the quality of your ad, the quality of your headline, the quality of your images, the quality of your videos, the quality of your offer, the quality of your testimonials, right? It is based upon your overall message quality, okay? Now that I got this, I can also click on see details, and it'll give me the breakdown, right? It'll say, okay, you should get around 588 visitors to this site. You're not going to get any leads because I don't have an opt-in page, right? Remember, I left that blank up here. I said no to the opt-in. Initial customers, I should get around 14 customers. I'm not going to get leads who became customers because I'm not getting any leads. I don't have a lead magnet or an opt-in page. What about future sales? Yeah, you should get around 4 future sales because remember, we said we want to convert at least 30% of our customers, which is 30% of 14 is around 4 orders or 4 customers, right? Then if I look to the right, I have my acquisition costs. And that has cost per lead. That's 0 because I don't have any leads. I don't have an opt-in page. Max acquisition cost. Now, this is a really good metric, or this will help you determine how much you can spend. Max acquisition cost it's basically the profit margin, right? It's like, well, if my profit margin is 60% and my product is 97%, then that means 60% of $97 is $58.20. I'm going to repeat that. My max acquisition cost should be, in most scenarios, it should be the profit margin of your product. So in my case, my product was $97 and my profit rate is 60%. 60% of 97 is $58.20. That's the most that I should spend on acquiring a new customer. Everybody with me so far? That's the most that I should spend. Now, right below that is the actual cost. What did it actually cost you? Oh, okay, it cost you $42.86. It was lower, and lower is always better. You want your cost to acquire a customer to be lower than your max cost, because that means now you can actually hopefully make some profit. Okay? Then we get to the outcome field, the outcome section rather. It says we have the initial sales, we have future sales, we have total sales where we combine those two numbers. And then we have our expenses. We have an ad spend expense, we have the cost of goods sold, and then we have what we call just more expenses, and that was my $500. Okay? We see that here? So it knows what my cost of goods sold is, and it says, okay, your final balance is you made $1,358. You also made an additional $596 from future sales. So that's a total sales or a total revenue of $1,954. Then you want to subtract, right? You're going to subtract your ad spend. You're going to subtract your cost of goods sold, and you're going to subtract any additional expenses that may be attached to your marketing. And the balance of that is $102. You made $1,954, but you only walked away with $102 in profit. But the reason why it's not that much profit is because we were just trying to break even, right? That's what this goal calculator is. Show me what I need to do just to break even. Now that we've gotten that point, now that we actually have a break even goal, what I'm going to do now is scroll all the way back up to the top, and I'm going to locate the goal type field, and I'm going to change this from break even to scale. And when I do that, it will refresh the page, and it took a copy of the data that I typed in from the break even goals, and it copied it to the scale goal. And the only thing I want to do at this point is I basically just want to I want to locate the landing page click-through rate field, and I just want to click on the word scale, or the link scale. And when I do that, when I click on it, notice that it says, okay, in order to scale, you need to achieve a 4.2% landing page click-through rate. And if I run the formula, right, we're going to see, okay, you should get roughly 1.6x POAS as a result, right? And you should walk away with $645.10 in profit. Notice that my ROAS is 4.7, but my POAS is 1.6. See the big difference between these two numbers, right? One is 4.7 ROAS, right? And people are like, well, is that good? I'm like, well, it depends. You got to look at the other numbers. But 4.7x ROAS, but my POAS is 1.6, right? Everybody with me so far? And so now once I got that, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the save button. And when I hit the save button, it saves this goal calculator, and I can see the two goals. I can see my break even goals, and I can see my scale goals. These are the numbers I need to hit to break even, and these are the numbers that I need to hit in order to scale. Now here's the cool part about this process, right? You may be like, man, now that I got these numbers, what do I do with it, right? Well, the thing that you do with it now is you can use these numbers to evaluate the success of the various steps of your funnel. You can use this to evaluate the success, right? So when you're looking at your ads, you can be like, okay, what's my landing page click-through rate? You can look at the pages, in your attributions, right? You want to be able to look at the attribution of that ad, and you can be like, okay, did I achieve my sales conversion rate goals? Did I achieve my opt-in conversion rate goals? What about my CPA? Am I within the boundaries of my CPA? What about my ROAS? Is my ROAS 3.3 or higher? Is my POAS 1.1 or higher? Right? And so the way I like to look at this is break even. I want to look at my data, and any ad or that is performing less, any ad that's not achieving my break-even goals, then for the most part, that means that I need to turn off that ad and I need to replace it with a better performing ad, right? But now I know what I'm aiming for. I know that I'm aiming for these targets. Like, so when I aim, I know what I'm aiming at now. Makes sense? And now for the scale, if my ads achieve the scale goals, then what I'm looking to do is I am looking to scale the ad. I'm looking to spend more money on the ad. I'm not just going to spend $5,000 on ads. I'm not just going to spend $10,000 or $20,000. I first want to make sure that I'm achieving, that I'm at least just breaking even first. Because there's a lot of you out there, you're not breaking even. You're wasting money, you're losing money, you're not breaking even. And you don't want to scale until you actually achieve those scale goals. You want to be like, wait a minute, first of all, am I even getting a landing page click-through rate of 4.2%? Am I getting a sales conversion rate of 2.38? Am I getting a CPA of 30%? Am I even getting those? Is my ROAS 4.7 or higher? Or is my POAS 1.6 or higher? Because those are the scale goals that I need to hit. You need to be able to hit these scale goals, right? Because if you don't hit these scale goals, right? If you don't hit these scale goals, then there's no need to scale. Don't spend more money on ads if the ads aren't even performing well, okay? And how do I know if it's performing well? Because it will hit these goals, right? But that's why you have to set the goals first, and that's the reason why our lesson today is setting your how to set these micro goals, all right? So I got one more thing to show you. I'm going to show you how to take these same numbers and plan out your funnel so that you can see it within like a funnel blueprint. So let's go and let me show you how to do that. I stated earlier that I'm going to show you how to Another way you can map out your funnel, your blueprints, and then plug in your goals so that you can see the flow of your funnel and what the goals should be for each step of your funnel. So let me do that. I'm gonna go here to in the funnel goal. I'm gonna click on funnel blueprints, and I have one here, but I'm just gonna remove it. Hit delete and remove that, and I'm just gonna click on new, and I'm just gonna type in my sample funnel, and then I'm just going to hit next. And it's going to when it opens up. Oops. When it opens up, I have a canvas, so I have like a whiteboard, right? And basically, we're just going to draw out the funnel. We're basically just going to draw out the funnel and show it on the screen so that you can kind of see like how your funnel is going to kind of map out, right? And so just like how you would do this on a whiteboard, I have a whiteboard over here. It's not in the camera view, but instead of me doing it on the whiteboard over there, I'm going to do it here within the application, all right? So I'm gonna start off with, okay, I'm gonna have a traffic source, so I'm gonna have, an ad, and that ad is gonna be going to a sales page, right? Because it's real simple, going to a sales page, and then I'm gonna drag on this user event, because they're gonna purchase, and then I wanna drag on the thank you page. Real simple, nothing complicated. And now for me to connect the objects, I'm gonna click on traffic source, and then I'm gonna click the green link. When I click that, I'm then going to click on the page, and it's going to automatically draw the line. I don't have to drag it. I just have to just click on the green link. Now I'm going to connect the page to this user event. So the page is already clicked on, and then I'm going to click on the green link right above in this context menu that popped up. Let me click on that, and then I'm just going to click on user event. And then again, I'm going to click on the user event, and then I'm going to click on the green icon. Notice when you hover over it, it says link to another object on Yes Branch, right? So I'm just going to click this, and then I'm going to click on the page, and now it draws a line, okay? Now let me add some text to this. So I'm going to come back over here to the traffic source, and okay, I'm going to double click. I can either double click, or I can click on the icon or the object, and then click on the gear icon here, right? And that'll open up the same page, right? So I'm going to open this up, and then I'm just going to change the caption, and I'm going to say a campaign, and this is going to be Facebook. So I'm just going to hit OK. Then I'm going to come over here to the page. I'm going to double click, and then I'm going to type in a sales page, and for the type is going to be checkout order page, and then for the icons, a checkout order page, and then I'm going to hit enter to close. And then for the user event, I'm going to double click or click on the gear icon, and for the caption, I'm going to put purchase. For the type, I'm going to select purchase, and for the icon, I'm gonna select purchase, right? Selecting purchase for the type and purchase for the icon, then I'm just gonna hit OK. Or I can hit the enter button to close. And then I'm gonna go over here to the last page, and I'm just gonna double click or click on the gear icon, and I'm gonna change the caption to thank you. And for the type, I'm gonna make that thank you, and for the icon, I'm gonna make that thank you page, and I'm gonna hit OK. So now you can see I just basically changed the captions pretty much, and I changed the type and the icon, right? So notice if I come back to this campaign, like if I change the icon to, let's say Instagram, right? And I hit OK, it'll show me the Instagram icon. If I double click on it and change the type to, let's say, YouTube, right? And I can type in for the caption, I can still keep it as campaign, but for the type, I can switch that to YouTube, and for the icon, I can make it YouTube, and I can just hit OK, right? And it'll show me that. But I'm gonna keep it with Facebook. The type is going to be Facebook, and the icon is going to be Facebook. So we got a campaign going to a sales page. We want them to purchase. We have a purchase event, and then we want them to go to this thank you page. All right. So now I'm gonna set up my goals. Right. So let me just hit save. So I have that here, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back here to reports, and I'm going to click on the goal calculator just to remember what was my goals. So we're trying to get a landing. I'm looking at the scale goal at this point. I want my landing page click-through rate to be 4.2%. And I'm just going to open this up in a second browser. Yeah, so now I got two tabs, so I can just quickly refer to it. Yeah, that's what I do. And so now I'm going to come back over here to close that. And I'm going to come back to the funnel blueprint. And I'm gonna click on sample funnel to open it up. And so now I can just, go to this other tab. So I'm trying to get a landing page click-through rate of 4.2%. And what did I say? My ad spend is $600, right? So now I'm gonna come back over here to the funnel and I'm gonna click on forecast and I'm gonna go to ad spend and I'm gonna just put in $600. It defaults to 600, but I'm just gonna make sure it's there. So we got 600 there, right? And then I'm just going to remove the forecast. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to click on this campaign. I'm going to double click or click on the gear icon. And then I'm just going to scroll down and notice where it says budget allocation. It says, goals. And I'm going to go down to where it says metric. And it has goals. And then to the right, it says live. So I'm just going to change the budget allocation to 100%. And what this is basically saying is I want to use 100% of my budget. That 100% of that $600 budget. I want to use that on this campaign, right? And then I'm gonna go to the CPM. My CPM defaults to $20. I'm okay with that. And then I should have 30,000 impressions. My frequency is 1.5. My reach is 20,000. But my landing page click-through rate, I'm gonna change this from 1% to 4.2% because that's my scale. Right, so I'm gonna type in 4.2%. Right, and which means I should expect 840 people to convert and make it to the landing page, right? And that's basically what this is telling me here. If I click on this and I say, okay, if I go to my scale, it's telling me the same thing. I should have 850 people, going to my landing page, okay? So when I'm done with this, I can now hit okay. And when I hit okay, I'm now going to go to the sales page. And I'm going to double click on that. And notice that this is set to true. It says, when I go to the goals section, it says skip conversion. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to track the conversion on this particular page. So I'm just set it to true. And I'm just going to hit okay. That's all okay. It's fine. I'm going to go to the purchase event now. I'm going to double click or hit the gear icon. And notice that the goals skip conversion is false. And for the conversion rate, I'm going to put in 2.38 because that's my conversion goal. If I come back over here to my goal calculator, my conversion goal is sales conversion is 2.38. So I'm going to put that here, right? And then I'm going to hit OK. Actually, I'm going to put in my product. I'm going to click Add Products, right? And I'm just going to put in the SKU number, 001. And this is like, let's say this is my course, and it's for $97 and my profit margin is 60%. And I'm going to go over this other stuff in another video, but for the main part, this is for your product. We're going to put in the price, profit margin, the SKU number, and the product name. So it's a course that I have. And then I'm just going to hit OK, right? And last but not least, I'm going to come to this thank you page, double click on it, and everything is set on that. I don't need to do anything different, so we're good there. I'm just going to hit save. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the forecast button again, right? This time when I click the forecast button, notice that some numbers showed up as well as this, forecast panel on the right side. So to save some space, I'm going to collapse my object panel by clicking on the X here. That'll give me just a little bit more room here. And so remember I'm going from my campaign to the sales page, to the purchase, and then to the thank you page. And as you can see, it can track my goals. It says, okay, you got 20,000 people who should see this ad. Out of that 20,000 people, we should get a 4.2 conversion. We should get a 4.2 landing page click-through rate, which should bring 840 people to your sales page. And then we expect those 840 people to see the sales page and then make a decision, right? Well, out of that 840 people, we expect 2.38% of them to purchase, which is roughly 19 people. That means 19 people will purchase and make it to the thank you page, right? Now, if I come over here to the right panel, I can see that it gave me some results. It says, okay, we expect 840 visitors. It should cost you roughly 71 cents per visit or for visitor. And then we should expect 19 customers and the customer sale cost. In other words, my cost per acquisition is CPA is $31.58. We expect 19 orders, and the average order value is $97. We expect a revenue of $1,843, which is a 3.1x ROAS, not POAS, but ROAS. But if I keep on scrolling down, I get to the expenses section, and it says that I should have $600 for ad spend. My cost of goods sold is $737.20, which gives me a total expense of $1,337.20. And I walk away, all the way on the bottom, I walk away with a profit of $505.80, which is a POAS of 1.8. Okay, now if I come back over here to this other tab, notice how this one is saying 1.6. That's because it's actually giving me some averages, but this one is actually giving me a much more exact amount because of the way that the data is being plugged in, right? So what's nice about this is that not only do I get to see the results, my goals, and my how much my POAS should be and how much I should make and all that, but notice what else? It's letting me know that for each step of the funnel, this is what you should expect. Right, so it's more than just looking at. This is more than just looking at the funnel, right? This is more than just looking at the blueprint of the funnel. You actually get a chance to look at the actual layout, and not just the layout, but you get a chance to see the actual goals for each step of the funnel, right? Remember, that's part of the tracking. I mean, a part of the planning. You want to plan. You want to say, okay, these are my goals, but these are the goals for every step of the funnel. Okay, and this allows you to quickly do that. So I can now know what the process is. Now, remember how we said in the goal calculator, I had some expenses. I had a $500 agency fee, right? Let me just go. Yeah, I had a $500 agency fee, right? And so, and notice how over here, I don't have that agency fee plugged in, because for more expenses, it comes up 0. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on more expenses, and I'm going to hit add expense, and I'm going to type the word agency fee, and I'm going to put $500. And then I'm going to hit OK, and notice when I do that, now it brings, notice how it brought me all the way back down. Right now my profit is gone, right? And did I put in my profit is gone? There's something else that what am I missing? 2024.2. Oh, that's because I didn't key in my future sales. So this is expecting some future sales. And notice how I can still do those future sales. I just didn't put it in here because I can add in a nurture sequence, and actually I might as well do that. Let me go here to if they purchase, right? So they made it to this thank you page. Now that they purchase, let me add that in. I'm going to add in an automated action, and and I'm going to just connect. I'm going to click on purchase, click on the green icon, and then click on automated action object, and that draws the line. And then I'm just going to double click, and I'm going to change the caption to, I'm just going to type in for now, nurture, nurture sequence. Right, and that's going to be email, and I'm going to hit OK. So now I have this nurture sequence, right? And this nurture sequence, let me collapse some of this so I got more space. And this, what's going to happen is this nurture sequence is going to lead people to a, it's going to lead people to a upsell, or not an upsell, but more so like, hey, here's some other products to sell. Some other products and offers that I'm going to present to you. But I'm not going to present it to them the same day. They're going to get some email offers and text messages and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the object panel, and I'm just going to drag on another page. I'm actually going to drag on a page, a user event, and another page. And so I'm going to click on nurture sequence, and I'm going to click the green icon, and then connect to this page. I'm going to double click on that, and I'm just going to put offer 2, right? Sales offer. Sales offer number 2. This is a sales page, so there's going to be a checkout on there. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to click on the sales offer, click on the green icon, click on this user event. I'm also going to click on the user event, click on the green icon, then click on the page to connect that, right? And so now I'm gonna click on the user event. I'm gonna double click on that, or click on the uh, the settings gear icon, and I'm just gonna put here purchase. I'm just gonna type in future purchase for now, right? So I did that, and my conversion rate for that is still, it's not gonna be 2.38, it's gonna actually be 30%. Remember how we said the future conversion rate? Because I wanna convert at least 30% of that audience, right? So what I'm gonna do, this is gonna be 30 for 30%, and then I'm gonna add a product, right? Well, what's this other product? It's gonna be, SKU number is gonna be 102, and this is gonna be, I'm just gonna call this second product, right? And what did we say the price was for that? It was a future sale of 149. So I'm just gonna type in 149. The profit margin was 65%. And that's all I got to do, and then I can just hit OK, right? And then this last one, I'm just going to double click or hit the gear icon. This is going to be a thank you page. My type is going to be thank you, and my icon is going to be thank you, right? And so now this becomes my funnel, right? So let me just adjust some of this just to make it a little bit more neater, right? So you can see, let me actually make this just a little bit narrower there, and yeah, so we're good here. So now notice what I did. So this is my my funnel. They're going from the campaign to the sales page. They purchase, they get to the thank you page. When they purchase, they're also going to get a nurture email sequence, which will take them to the sales page. There should be a future purchase, and then they go to the thank you page. Now, what's interesting, I'm going to double click on this email, and I'm going to say, okay, you're reaching 19 people. I'm gonna keep the conversion rate at 100% right now, and I'm expecting those people over time to get to this sales offer page, right? So I expect, out of that 19 people, that they will get to this page, and then eventually only a small percentage, only 30% of them will purchase, right? So let me zoom out slightly so you can see the whole, right? That's the funnel, right? Nothing spectacular, just a basic funnel. And now I'm gonna go back to 100%. And now when I click on forecast, notice what it does, right? It draws this out and it says, okay, we should expect, 5 more customers out of this, out of here. We should get about 30%, which is 5 more customers coming in. Y'all see that? And so that means now we should make a little bit more money, right? So now we can see, wow, we're actually making a profit now, which is also what we see here. When we hit, if I switch this to scale goal and I hit run, I'm going to see that, we're making a profit there, right? So this is what's cool about this process, is that it's taken into consideration my upsells, my future sales, I should say. So you can actually map this out to say, okay, and I want to make this future sale within the next 30 days. Now, if you don't make it within 30 days, if you don't make this future sale until maybe 45 days, then you'll still make this money. It's just that it's going to take you longer to get that money back. Instead of you getting that money back in 30 days, you're going to get it back in 45 days or 60 days, depending on how long it takes you to get that future sale. And so when I set these up, I want to get my future sales as fast as possible. I want to get it within the next 30 days, and I will build a nurture sequence to get that sale faster. Especially if you're a small business, you don't have just all this money lying around where you could just wait 3 months for a sale to come in, or wait 5 months for a sale to come in and still be running ads. You need to be able to get that money back so that you can keep on reinvesting into more ads or more marketing, so you can, grow and scale your business. All right. So we can expect, 4 or 5 more future sales, because now we're taking into consideration the future sale, and we're taking into consideration the price. And notice what happens. My average order value, goes up, right? Because now the average, instead of the average order value being $90 something, it's going to be slightly higher because it's taking into consideration all the additional money that I'm bringing in, right? So let's do this. Now that I got this here, I can see. Let me zoom out slightly again so we can see here, right? So we can see the whole funnel. I can click on forecast, and it can show me the traffic, and it can show me how they're going to navigate through this funnel and where my conversion rate should take place. Now, here's what's really, really cool about this. Once I have all of that, right, I can integrate with Facebook, Shopify, ClickFunnels, and all of that. I can integrate with Wix, WooCommerce, and then I can put in all my tracking information. And then when I click on live metrics, let me just first hit save. And then when I click on live metrics, look what happened. If I click on live metrics, another number is going to appear underneath the goals. The goals are in red, but the black numbers are what actually happened. Remember how I said that, the reason why we're creating these goals is so that we know what we're aiming for. But now that we know what we're aiming for, we now have to actually, launch, collect the data, right? And then compare the data to compare what happened to what we wanted to happen. Compare the actual metric numbers to the goal metric, right? It's just like, like I have a gun, right? And when I go to the gun range, I'm aiming at a target. Well, if I don't have a target, then I don't know what I'm aiming for. And if I don't know what I'm aiming for, I don't know if I hit it or missed it, right? So you have to have a target. And so the first thing we did is we went through and set up these different goal targets, right? What I call micro targets. So now when we actually run and launch a funnel, I can click on live metrics and it's pulling the data live. This is what's so powerful. This is not just a planning tool. This tool allows you to plan, but it also allows you to track, and you can do ad attribution. You can track the data that's happening in your funnel and compare it to the actual data that to the actual goals, and it allows me to see it right here. I can see the actual, I can see what happened and compare it to what I wanted to happen. Okay, and as long as you can compare two numbers, right? As long as you can compare two numbers, then you're good, right? If you can compare those two numbers, you're good. If you can compare the goal to what actually happened, you're good, because when those numbers don't match, if the goal is less than, if what happened is less than what you want it to happen, then you know that you didn't hit the goal, right? If you didn't hit the goal, then you know that that's a leak, right? You wanted your sales conversion rate to be, like, I think we wanted our sales conversion rate to be what, 2.38 on the. If I go back to the first sales page, we wanted the conversion rate to be 2.38, right? Well, I can then look at the real data and say, okay, what was my real data conversion rate, right? Right now, mine's is 0 because I didn't launch yet. We're going to get into that in the next training. I'm going to show you how to actually track, and when you launch, how to actually look at the data, right? But when I'm looking at this, if my sales conversion rate goal is 2.38, the next question I got to ask myself is, well, what was the actual sales conversion rate? And to do that, I got to install the first party tracking data. I got to be able to pull that data from Facebook or from Shopify or from Wix or ClickFunnels or wherever. And then I need to be able to compare it, what happened to what I wanted to happen, right? And so we took all that guesswork and made it a whole lot easier. It's actually hard, right? If a person try to get all this data, it's actually hard. And so we made that process a whole lot easier so that you can just quickly look at your funnel, right? And quickly see it. So it's like, here's the funnel, right? And I'm like, here's my goals. And then I click on live metrics, and that's what I'm going to compare it to. And if those numbers match, right? If those numbers, let me just zoom in a little bit more. If those numbers match, right, then great. If the numbers are lower, then that's bad, right? So you see here, I wanted to have a 4.2 conversion rate. Well, when we launch this, we're going to see, are you getting a 4.2 conversion rate? We're going to see, are you getting a 2.38 sales conversion rate? Are you getting, are you getting a 4.2 landing page click-through rate over here for the Facebook ad? And then for the purchase, are you getting a 2.38 sales conversion rate? And then for the upsell or the future sales, are you getting a 30% conversion rate, right? And so we can quickly track that, and see, okay, let's check the numbers, let's compare it, and if the numbers are good and they match, great. If the numbers are better, then great. But if the numbers are lower and they don't match, then that's bad, that's a leak, and we need to optimize. Now, I want to show you one other thing. I want to show you one other thing here. Where is it? Let me pull that up. I just got to find it first, so bear with me. I had another. Oh yeah. Yeah. So for those of you who saw like my intro a couple of days ago, you should have, you should have seen that. And notice if you look at my screen here, you will see that I had this 5-step rule. And number one was determine your micro target goals, right? And that's what we're doing in this presentation. I'm showing you how to determine those micro targets. I'm showing you how to create that blueprint and plug in your goals, be able to see the flow, be able to see the goals for every step of the funnel. And then I showed you how to quickly click live metrics and do the compare. So once you launch, you're tracking your data and you should be able to compare the data at that point. But now after we do step one, now you got to add the tracking to the sales funnel and build the metric reports, right? Funnel goal. I'm going to create another video and show you how to do that, how to add tracking to your sales funnel and how to build the metric reports. What I just did just now is I showed you the metric report, right? Because that blueprint also is a built-in report. It's like I'm planning it, I'm plugging in my goals, but then when I hit live metrics, it's also going to give me reports because now I can compare what happened to what I'm sorry, talking too fast. I can compare what happened to what I wanted to happen. Right, and that's a good report to have, right? And then we have some other dashboards, reports that will show you all your Facebook ads and stuff like that, and the attribution for each of those ads. So you're going to be able to quickly, run those reports after you launch. Step number 3 is easy, is you launch, right? That's step number 3 here, is you launch, you just hit the go button. Step number 4 is now that you've launched, you let your ad run for a couple of days or every 5,000 impressions, right? And then you want to review the metrics. And when we talk about reviewing the metrics, what we're talking about is you're going to review that planning blueprint, the blueprint that I just showed you, that funnel blueprint. Remember here, let me just pull that up. Where did I put it? Yeah, remember here. So if you look at my screen here, you're going to see this is where my the report is, right? So I can look at, let me just zoom out a little bit. So I can look at my dashboard or my blueprint. I can click on forecast, so I know what my goals are. Then I can click on live metrics. So this is one of the reports you want to look at, right? And you can quickly locate the leak of the funnel, just like that. I mean, like, this is freaking amazing. You'll be able to locate where the leak is, because that's the question that many people you are having. You're trying to figure out like what exactly is, where is the leak? Like, where is the leak in this funnel? You got all these moving pieces, right? But you're like, man, where exactly is the leak? You're like, man, where's the leak? Something's wrong, but I don't know where it is. With this, you're going to be able to quickly see it, right? So when you're looking at this presentation here, this blueprint, you can see like, wow, look at this. I can quickly see where the leak is. I mean, like, do you know how cool this is? Being able to quickly locate where the leak is. No more guesswork, no more assumptions. We can quickly see where the leak is. And once we find the leak, now we can go back. We can go back to our, slide here, and I can be like, okay, now that I've reviewed the metrics, I can now determine what changes that I need to make to optimize, right? Now I can say, okay, well, I know where the leak is, right? So I can look at, let's say, for example, if I look at let's say the leak is on this Facebook ad. I'm like, okay, great. What do I do? I need to make changes to improve performance. Let's say the leak is at this purchase event, and the purchase event is tied to the sales page, and that means I need to look at what I'm doing on this sales page, and I need to make changes to improve performance there. What if the leak is in this nurture sequence? For whatever reason, my open rates are low, or for whatever reason, my click-through rate is low. Well, no worries. I now know that, and I can now make changes to improve the performance, right? Well, what if the leak is here at this future purchase? I can just come back to this sales offer, and I can be like, okay, my I got a leak here. So what do I do? No problem. I'm just going to make changes to improve performance, right? And you're going to keep doing that. And when I'm done making the changes, I'm going to relaunch. I'm going to go back to step 3, and I'm going to relaunch, right? So that's pretty much the process here. Let me just move this here. All right, that's pretty much the process. This is my funnel. I can forecast, set my goals, and I can do my live metrics, and I can just click on live metrics just to quickly see what they are, or I can click on both the live metrics and the goals and the forecast, and I can quickly see what those need to be, right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is basically what you want to do. You want to set up your planning, and that's pretty much what I've done in this presentation. I've showed you how to set up the importance of those metrics, what those metrics means, why they're important to your overall goal, and then I've showed you how to determine what your metric goals, what your micro target goals need to be. I've also explained to you how you can determine that, how you can build out your funnel. I showed you like a real basic funnel, and then I showed you how to set the goals in that funnel, and then I showed you quickly just how to click on the live metrics so you can see the live metrics. What I did not show you is I didn't show you how to actually track, how to add the tracking into your existing funnel or your new funnel. I'm going to show you that in the next training. It's a free training. I'm going to show you how to do that, how to set this up, whether it's ClickFunnels, whether it's Shopify, whether it's WooCommerce, whether it's Wix, whether it's lead pages. It doesn't really matter. Whether it's just don't matter. You can install. I'm going to show you how to install the first party tracking pixel, and I'm also going to show you how to add that tracking data to this blueprint that I'm showing you, so that you can pull in all the live data into this blueprint. All right, and it's pretty awesome. We took something that was extremely complicated and made it a whole lot simpler. Now here's the thing: there's a double-edged sword to that, because one, we made it really easy, but sometimes when you make something very easy, people sometimes can downplay the value of that. But no, this is extremely hard work. We took something extremely complicated and made it very easy, so that you can manage your funnel properly and optimize, track your data, review your data, make the changes, and optimize and manage that stuff a whole lot easier without you having to spend a whole lot of money paying everybody else, to do this. Because it's already hard building a business. It's already hard selling products, getting people to click on an ad, open up an email, click on an SMS. We're trying to make that process a whole lot easier for you, so that you can quickly locate where the problem is, so that you can optimize and make the changes to improve the performance of your sales funnel, so that you can reach your funnel goal. All right, that is the purpose. All right, so thank you so much. You've made it through the first wave. This is lesson number 1. There's a few more to go. If you have any questions, feel free to contact my team, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through, to answer any questions, even to help you set this up, just in case you're one of those people, you're not highly technical. Even though we made it easy, you may be like, look, I still need someone to help me through it, because I know it takes you still got to wrap your head around the concepts, right? We made the technology easy, but you still got to wrap your head around the concepts, because the concepts are not that easy to wrap your head around. Once you get it though, you can definitely start rocking and rolling with what we have. If you need access to this software, contact us. We'll set you up. We'll get you started. Most of you who's watching this video, you probably already have access to the software, but there should be a link in the somewhere on this page where you can get access to that software. And if you need us to help you, again, contact us, contact our support. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions, get on a Zoom call, walk you through, and get you up and running. All right. So again, my name is Samuel Genus. I will see you in the next video. Take care.